I wanted to answer some questions you all had in regards to a variety of things. So, this is frequently asked questions. The biggest one is, how do I bind all of my sisterhood pages once I receive them? So, I have provided a couple of variety of ways that you can bind things in. Obviously, the easiest and probably just simplest is going to be a binder. So I got this off of Amazon. It's a 3-ring binder that's A5 size with a 2-inch spine. So extra chunky and able to, withstand putting anything in here. If you don't like the 3-ring binder, you can obviously bind these yourself with a spiral binder or something like that. Once you get them all together, it's really up to you. But there's a lot of binding methods that you can make. If you're going the route of wanting to put them into a journal, I have put together an experimental journal that kind of goes through a couple of variety of things. So first and foremost is like the Sisterhood quilt. How do I put together the Sisterhood quilt? And I know I showed you guys this before. Into the pages, if you're doing a binder, and this is just a regular composition book, the cheapest composition book that you can get. Um, is fine. Any kind of binder or journal that's around that size is perfectly acceptable. If you want one smaller, it's really up to you. If you want to create your own book, uh, there's a variety of things that you can do. But the Sisterhood quilt blocks, essentially, or Sisterhood quilt, I took a bunch of 3x3 squares and I stuck them down to the page. And then I just ran some washi tape to bind them together into the quilt, right? If you're doing this in the binder, what I would suggest is doing a fold out. And so you can, it could fold out multiple times if you wanted it to, and do a full quilt. I think somebody else mentioned that they're going to actually take theirs and do an entire like canvas with them, or wall hanging or something. So sky's the limit with your quilt blocks. I think it's going to be really cool to see what everybody creates. Ways that you can incorporate your pages into your sheet. Obviously, they're going to be front and back, so you want to make sure that you attach them in here in some way that you can see both sides. If you receive one that has a single page front and back, a great way to do that is to create a sticker hinge. So all I did was, you can use washi tape, or in this case I have colored masking tape. I just stuck it down on this side, and then flipped it over and stuck it down on the other side. So then it creates this nice hinge, makes it super simple. A couple of other options. Again, with a hinge method, but a hinge method that you can actually take out. I did add tape on here, but I actually locked mine in with a hinge, which I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. Similar to that, because I just recorded this and then I realized it didn't record. In the hinge method. In the hinge method like this, if you don't tape it down, you actually can remove these because this is completely removable. So what I did was I actually created, utilizing the page, these little tabs that you can stick through the edge. So I cut little slits. This is a little slit in my paper, right, on the edge. And I just came through here. I glued 2 pieces of paper together, and then I trimmed it and made these little tabs that then I folded in on themselves and fed through the slits, and it locks it on. So essentially doing this, it locks it in so you can't take them back out. This would prevent your book from getting super bulky by doing that, because you're eliminating pages. Your spine might get a little bulky, but it won't create a lot of bulk in your pages. So that's a fun way to do it. Another way is just tape them in. So this is just taped on one side, taped on the other, similar to the original one I showed you, but leaving it open so you could open it up if you have the double fold. So that's super simple. This one, I didn't like this one as much, but I came up with a pocket where essentially you take 2 pieces of paper, cut them down, fold it over, and then open up a slit to drop your pages in. I wasn't as fond of this one once I created it, but that's an option as well. You could also create pockets like this, so you can actually take your pages, even if they're double-sided pages, you could slide them in and out, which makes a nice interactive thing to do with your journal. The one other option that I came up with was to actually create a window, and then trim out your window with washi tape. And essentially what I did was I actually I cut 2 pieces of back to back of this. So you can kind of see here what it looks like without the washi tape finishing, but I just stuck my piece of paper in between the window and then glued around the edge and then came back and add some washi tape. So essentially you would be able to see both sides if it's a single sheet. You obviously can't do that if it's, well, I mean, I guess you could still, you couldn't do it essentially if it's one of the fold opens. So those are just some options. I'm sure there's probably a million other ways that you can do this, including a million ways that you could bind these together. So I just gave you a couple of options of things that I think are pretty simple to do to add these into a book. Certainly, as we get started on this, post if you find another interesting way to bind your pages into your book. Post it on your group so that way other people can get inspiration based on what you're doing. I hope that answers a lot of your questions. We will be shipping out on the 27th of June. That's our first round. Your pages can be anything, but an About Me page is what we're doing first. And then everybody, so you're going to send one About Me page to every one of the sisters that are in your group. Groups are various sizes. Most of them are 20 people. And then you're also going to send a quilt block with each one of your envelopes. And that is relatively simple. One other thing, if you're purchasing anything out of the shop, those are all printables. We're not shipping you anything. Those are you download the file and you print it. And I know that's been a little confusing. Read the instructions. It talks about how this is a file for you to download and print on your own. So don't buy multiples of some of the things because you won't need to. You just download it once. Pay for it once, download it once, and then you can print it as many times as you want at home. I don't have the ability right now or the bandwidth to be able to print all of those. I will figure out a way because I know a lot of you guys have had concerns about not being able to print at home. I will figure out a way to get those set up so that you could potentially print them. They will be more than $1. The dollar was really just a very nominal cost to help backfeed into covering the cost and keep the Sisterhood Shuffle group and membership completely free for everybody. So it was just me uploading some files of things that I had. It's a nominal cost if you want to use them, but again, that money goes to cover keeping the Sisterhood memberships completely free so that anybody can join. It doesn't cost anything. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Also, if you are somebody who sells junk journal supplies, junk journals, or anything like that, we have an entire spotlight area. Send me your information and I'll add you to the spotlight area. Again, that's completely free and available to anybody. And that just kind of advertises what it is that you sell to all the sisters. So that's kind of just a free resource. It was simple to set up for me. And so I threw out some of my own stuff that I work on. But if you are somebody who sells ephemera, trinkets, junk journal supplies, any of the junk journal things, send me an email with a photo of what you sell and then the links that you want added to your listing. And I will drop that on there at, no charge to anybody. It will just link out to your external site wherever you currently sell your stuff at. So hopefully that answers everything. Like I mentioned, we're shipping out on the 27th. Good luck. I look forward to sending and receiving with the group that I'm in. So that'll be super exciting. And I appreciate you guys signing up. We're at 100 and almost probably 200 after today. People who have signed up for the Sisterhood Shuffle, which is amazing. If you know anybody who wants to get in on the Sisterhood Shuffle, obviously we can continue to sign up. But as it gets closer to the 27th, they'll have less and less time to do their pages. But I can always spawn up another group later on as needed. In about 6 months, we'll shuffle everybody around and you'll get a whole new set of sisters. So I will be posting on a monthly basis kind of what the next interactive theme is that you guys can send out. And we'll go from there. Let me know if you have any questions. And I look forward to this whole process. Thanks, guys.